I really like the previous talk, and I think that the anti-aging field is a really promising area, and what they do in the lab is actually working on developing strategy, in particular partial reprogramming, to make the cells younger. But what I would like to focus today during these few minutes is the definition of aging, because I think everyone is interested in developing anti-aging intervention, but despite everyone is able to recognize who is the younger and who is the older person in this picture, a clear definition and a clear, and I would say, well-agreed definition of aging in the field is still missing. So every time I go to a meeting, expert on aging, they talk, and every one of them has a slightly different definition. So what we can say is that, of course, there is a clear difference between chronological and biological age. Chronological is easier to be defined, is the number of days we have been alive. Biological age is actually defined from how much damage has occurred inside our body. But the definition that I like the most and is like loss of elasticity, loss of resilience, because I mean, if we expose a young person and an old person to the same stress environment, the young person is going to probably respond much better than the old one. But long story short, the goal is that if we want to develop rejuvenation therapies, whatever field it is, we need to be able to measure and to quantify what aging is. So for this, we need a biomarker, and these are just like few characteristics of a good biomarker, which is basically they have to be able to measure the biological phenomena we are working on. And for rejuvenation, it's extremely challenging for several reasons that I put here. First of all, as I mentioned at the beginning, aging doesn't have a clear definition, and this is a very big gap in the field. Second, as also Amit pointed out before, different cell type has different aging pace. So the liver, the brain, the skin. So making a universal definition of aging cannot be the right path to choose, because again, every organ has a different story. But it's even more complex because we are individuals and we are made by different organs, and different organs interact within each other, releasing factors. So sometimes the aging maybe in one organ is affecting the aging in another organ. So everything makes extremely complex the phenomena to study. And of course, the individual variability. Genetics also plays a pivotal importance. Centenarian people have been shown to have specific genetic predisposition that help them to have a higher longevity. So what can we do to fill this gap? And this was actually an idea that Madi, that worked with me in the lab for several years, had. Basically, we were studying aging, and we're like, okay, but how can we measure aging? How can we find a way to make sure that the scientific research can advance in the field? And the Biomarker of Aging Consortium, whose website is here, was founded by this amazing group of people, and I think also Alison is executive committee. Basically, the goal is to promote the standardization of biomarkers. So to make sure that the big expert in the aging field can in some way interact within each other, and they can come to a definition and to a way to develop, by combining different expertise, a strong consensus about what measuring aging means. And these are like the three main goals. First of all, there are publications, so there will be several reviews published about what are the biomarkers of aging, how can we measure aging, and there is a lot of important and expert people in the author of these manuscripts that are available on the website. We're also trying to make sure that people interested in biomarker can have an environment, including company and academic world, where they can discuss and where they can actually come out with new ideas to advance the biomarker field. And there are also a couple of initiatives, bioinformatics, one which I don't know anything about, but one of them, first of all, this is like the next conference that we're going to have in November 2044 in Boston, and the registration is open, so if you guys want to join, we would love to have you there. And regarding two of the open sources that they have on their website, the first is the BioLearn. It's basically a platform that contains a lot of omic data that were developed, epigenetic, metabolic, proteomic, and people can just go there and have food they can use to perform analysis and to try to measure biological age. And also a challenge was launched. It's called Biomarker of Aging Challenge. Basically, there is a set of data, and there are several prizes that are released. And the goal of the challenge is that people can have access to this data and they can predict blinded data, biological age, longevity intervention, and how the system is going to respond to whatever treatment. And this also in the website, you're going to find more information. And I think I spoke a lot. That's it. Thank you.